Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, Rob, was fired. And do we have sound of John Harbaugh? Okay, John Harbaugh was basically, Rob, ending all the speculation about Lamar Jackson and saying he will be a Raven next year. Here he is.
Lamar Jackson is our quarterback. Everything we've done in terms of building our offense and building our team, how we think in terms of people and put people around him, is based on this incredible young man and his talent and his ability. Greg's a great coach, and he did the best he could. We leave that era, we move into the next era now in terms of our offense. And I did ask Lamar about it, and he will be involved in it. I'll keep him abreast of what's going on, and I'm sure he'll have some input along the way. But I know his focus, like he told me, is going to be on getting himself ready and getting his guys ready.
Well, Rob, look, there's been all types of speculation about Lamar Jackson going to the Jets and going to all types of other teams. And you and I stood strong that, look, it doesn't – I was like, the Ravens would be crazy to let him go. And if they don't settle on a contract, then I think they franchise him. And I think he would sign it. And, the franchise tag can work out for you. It worked out for Dak Prescott. It worked out for Kirk Cousins. I know it's not preferable, but, I think I'm not surprised that they're going to be together. And, Rob, whoever they bring in as the next OC, and I think we talked about this with I can't remember who the player was, but I don't expect Lamar Jackson to be at the table when they're talking about who they're going to hire as their next GM. I don't expect him to be bringing names to them, but I expect them, when they're looking at guys, to, let Lamar know who they're thinking about, what that particular OC, I said GM, I meant offensive coordinator, what that particular offensive coordinator's strengths are, how he likes to play. What do you think about that, Lamar? Like that type of stuff, which I think I'm cool with. I don't think you should bring any player into like the hiring process of a coach, because it can put the player at odds with even some of his teammates. So I don't think they're going that route. But I think, Rob, they're going to try to get an OC who will open up the offensive more, mainly the passing game. You still don't want to get away from the run, but you do have to open up the passing game. Steve Young, the Hall of Famer, Rob, has talked about this all season, and I think even before this season, but how they are stifling, in his opinion, Steve Young's opinion, Lamar Jackson, because they're not really running a pro-style offense. Now, it's going to be a little different than your typical offense because he can run so well, but they do have to get an offense that's more attractive to big-time wide receivers, Rob, and maybe they can get a big-name receiver that could work with Lamar, and, it takes him to another level. But overall, I'm not surprised. I think John Harbaugh, Rob, the frustration he was showing over the past couple of weeks, it probably was just a frustration with the process and the fact that business is hurting my football team. Business is going to lessen our chances of winning a playoff game, and obviously it did. And that's probably what frustrated him. And maybe he was frustrated with the organization too, but he's always kind of had Lamar's back. And so I'm sure he loves Lamar, because a coach is always going to love a player, especially a great player who really helps him win. So I'm not really surprised by this, Rob.
Not at all. I mean, I don't think you have no other choice. There's nobody you're replacing him with. You're not going to get somebody else. He's your guy. He's won 75% of the games when he's in there. What coach is going to distance himself from that quarterback?
Right.
Not a smart one, right? I mean, it's just what's the debate? This guy's won 75% of the games. Hello? And he just said it. The offense is geared around him. You're not going to do anything other than that. So this is, and I think that's just being nice. Yeah, Lamar will have be involved in the conversation. Hey, these are guys we're looking at. You got any input? Any of these guys? What have you heard from other players around the league? That's all you can get from Lamar. I don't expect him when some of these players are talking about they want to interview the coach and they want to be involved in the G.
They really don't, Rob.
Come on.
If they know everything that could come with that, then they really wouldn't want that. Because we've talked about it before, Rob. If you help hire the coach, then if he's bad, guess what? Guess who's partially responsible?
Right.
But
they don't want any of that, Chris. You know that. They don't want any of it.
It's like LeBron with Westbrook.
Right.
I mean, you got to own. Now, Westbrook's playing well now, but, you got to own some of that he didn't fit last year. And it's not a perfect fit anyway.
And everybody said it. And
right.
You know what? There was an option. And so, Chris, when there was an option and LeBron made the call, different if there was no option, okay? And that was there, and they went to LeBron and said, we could get Westbrook, that's all that's out there. Then that's different. But there was an option on the table, and he picked Westbrook. So when you do that, people have a right to say, hey, you blew it. You got it wrong. You got to live with it. You made this bed. You got to lie in it.
Do you think they'll come to an agreement on the contract before, they franchise him?
I don't know. I think Lamar, if I'm Lamar, I'd stick by my guns. I want a fully guaranteed contract. It's been given to other players, other quarterbacks. That's what I want. And you got to figure it out, how to make that work and make him happy. That's all.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, because I get their owner, I think, is philosophically against that. Just guaranteed contracts. But they're coming, Rob. I mean, obviously we've already seen some, but they're coming. We'll see who the first quarterback to get, that other than Deshaun Watson. I mean, that fully guaranteed deal. Maybe it's Joe Burrow. We talked about him. He'll be up. It could be him. But I think they're coming, and so you're going to have to pay the piper. But again, not surprised at all about this. I think the Ravens are doing the right thing. And Rob, I think, we've talked about it. I don't like the franchise tag, but it's there. And if I were a team owner, I would use it. And if you have questions, Lamar has been hurt the last 2 years. And if you have questions about his durability, the franchise tag is perfect. And, he gets paid big money just for a year, but still big money. And if he gets hurt, that's something you can put, take to the bank and say, you know what? He's been hurt 3 years in a row. Do we want to, give him a huge long-term contract? So I think that may be what happens. Hopefully for his sake, they can get a long-term deal, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. But it looks like he will be with the Ravens regardless next season.